Hello, welcome to Math with Mr. Dobrescu to the rescue. If you are reviewing for a function test, I think this video is going to help you tremendously because we are going to do a little review about functions. And if you're in 8th grade or 9th grade, I think you will benefit a lot. Let's take a look at the first question here. A function of x containing three ordered pairs of the form x and y is shown below. So we have 1 and 3, 2 and 7, 3 and negative 9. Remember, the first number in an ordered pair is the x, and the second number is the y. Let's label it. Okay, so we have an x, y, x, and a y. I think it's always good to label the x and the y in your ordered pairs. Okay, and then let's look at the question. What is the range of the function? If you remember, the range are the y values, okay? And the x, the domain, are the x values. So right now we are looking at the y values. And we have a couple of multiple choice questions. And then we are going to use the process of elimination. We are looking to get the y values from all these ordered pairs. Let's look at the first ordered pair. We have 1 and 3. The y value is 3. So let's create our own ordered pair here and see which one is going to match one of the answers here. So the first one is 3. So x is 1, y is 3. So we have 3 because we are looking for the range. Remember, the range are the y values, right? So first is 3. Let's continue. We have 2 and 7. The range, the y is 7. And then the last one, we have negative 3, negative 9 for y. Negative 9 for y, so negative 9. And let's see which of these, the multiple choice, are matching our answer. 3, 7, negative 7. 3, 7, negative 9. So let's see, we have here 3, 7, negative 9, right? So that's B. So this is the right answer. Okay, they are going from decreasing order, negative 9, 3, and 7. Let's put up the same thing. So negative 9 comes before 3, negative 9, then we have 3 and 7. Okay? From least to greatest. Okay? Pay attention to this type of question. Again, the range is the y values in any of those ordered pairs. Okay? Let's take a look at another question you may see on a test. A function of x containing four ordered pairs of the form x and y is shown below. Okay? So we have x, some values for x, 3, 5, 7, and 9. And then we have the y values, 0, 2, 4, and 6. And then is the question. The question is, what is the domain of this function? And remember, if the y was the range, the domain is the x, right? The domain is the independent variable, right? So all the x values are going to be our domain. So the first one is 3. Let's make our own. So it's 3, comma 5, 7, and 9. Okay, and it's also in a great order from least to greatest. Okay, let's see which one of these order multiple choice matches our answer. 3, 5, 7, 9. 3, 5, 7, 9, and 8 is the answer. Okay? Pretty easy how to identify this. Okay? You try to create your own, right? The domain. Remember, domain are the x values, right? The x values. Okay, pretty easy. Remember, domain, the x values. So we are looking at this, and then h matches that. Okay, the x values. Let's continue to another type of question you may see on the test. In order to calculate the volume A of a prism, we use the formula V equals 1 over 3 area of the base times the height. What is the dependent variable? Okay, let's take a look at the formula here. So we have a couple of options here, A, H, B, 1 over 3, C, V, and D, we have the B. Which one is the dependent variable? Okay, so As we look at this formula, we know that the V, right, the V is the dependent. What is the dependent? V depends on the area of the base and also depends on the height values, right? So the answer is V. Because again, V depends on the area of the base and also depends on the height. Depends what numbers we are giving or what values we are giving to area of the base and what values we are giving to the age. And then accordingly, V will be determined by those values. Okay, so the answer is C. Okay, the answer is C. Okay, let's continue to another type of question. Let's see if this one. Which order pair makes the equation false? Okay, be careful. Sometimes test questions are asking you for the false. Okay, be careful. False. False means not true. Not true, right? So we are looking for not true in this situation. Okay, so remember 0, the first number in an order pair is the x. And the other one is the y. Let's label first xy, xy, xy. So remember, always label the x and y values. And then we are going to plug those values into the equation and we are looking for the not true. Not for the true statement, we are looking for a false statement. Okay, let's try the first one. So instead of x, we are putting 0. So we have 0 equals 1 over 2. Instead of h, we are putting 2 times 2 over 1. We can do that. Create a function minus 1. Fraction. Okay, we can create 2. We make it 2 over 1. Remember, we can do that in math. And then we see that 2 and 2 cancels out. So we have 0 equals 1 minus 1 equals 0. So this is a true statement. But remember, we are looking for not true. We are looking for the false statement. So F cannot be the answer. So let's continue to the next one. Let's do G now. So instead of x, we put 1. So we have 1 equals 1 over 2 times y. Y is 4. And we can make 4 as 4 over 1 minus 1. And now 4 and 2 simplifies. 4 divides 2, 1 and 2. So we have 1 equals, this becomes 2 times 1, 2, and 2 minus 1 is 1. Another true statement. And again, we are looking for the false statement, which means G cannot be the answer. Let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to H. Instead of x, we put negative 1. So we have negative 1 equals 1 over 2 times, instead of y, we are putting 0, and then minus 1. So now we have, let's try again to see if we did it right. So negative 1 equals 1 over 2 instead of, yep, okay. So that becomes 0, so negative 1 equals negative 1, and another true statement. So this also is not right. So eventually, let's see if J is going to be right. We believe so, but let's try, because all the other ones are did not work. So instead of x, we put 2, so we have 2 equals 1 over 2 times h, which is 3. To make this 3 over 1, and minus 1. So we have 2 equals, this becomes 3 over 2 minus 1. And 3 over 2 minus 1 is not going to be 2. Okay, so this is false, right? So actually the answer is J, because we are looking for the false, which order pair makes the equation false. So J is the one that makes the equation false. Again, be very careful when they are asking us for the false, not for the true, because we are looking for the false statement. Okay, let's take a look at another question you may see on the test. Which order pair, x and y, is a solution of the following equation? So the equation is y equals 1 over 2x plus 4. Okay, and again, we have some order pairs, and again, always label first. So we have x and y, x and y, x and y, and another x and y. And again, now, let's read the question again. Which order pair is a solution? Okay, to be a solution, actually in this case we are looking for the true statement. Looking for a true statement. True statement. We are looking for a true statement. So in this case we are looking for what makes it true, not false. Okay, so let's plug it in. instead of y, we are putting false. We are trying the first one. 5 equals 1 over 2. Instead of x, we are putting 2. We can make this 2 over 1. And then plus 4. Okay? This cancels out. So we have 5 equals, all this becomes 1 plus 4. 5 equals 5. And this is true. So far, A works. Okay? So A is the answer. Now, sometimes some of these questions on a test may have multiple responses that could be true. So in this case, let's continue with B. Okay, so instead of y, we put 10. So we have 10 equals 1 over 2 times x. X is 6 over 1 plus 4. We have 10 equals 6 and 2 simplifies 1 and 3. 3 plus 4 is 7. And this is false. And B does not work. Let's continue with C. Instead of y, we are going to put 8. So we have 8 equals 1 over 2 times x. X is negative 4, right? So we have negative 4. We can put this over 1. And then we have plus 4 in the equation. This again simplifies. So we have 8 equals, that becomes negative 2. So negative 2 plus 4 becomes 2, but 8 does not equals 2. And this is also false. So C doesn't work. Let's cross it and let's try to do B now. D. So instead of y, we put 6. So we have 6 equals 1 over 2 times x, negative 2, divided by 1, and then plus 4. This simplifies, so we have 6 equals negative 1 plus 4. Negative 1 plus 4 becomes 3, and 6 does not equal 3, and this is also false. Okay, so the only answer is A. Okay, which order pair is a solution of the following? Okay, so sometimes if they say order pair, in this case actually they're asking you order pair which is singular, right? That means once you get A, in this case we could have just skipped to the next question because they are asking us for a singular order pair, not order pair, which order pairs. Then we could probably think there would be multiple answers for this problem. But again, we plugged it in and A worked. Okay, let's take a look at another problem you may see on a test. We have a table here, table of values. X, we have negative 2, 0, 3, 5, and 10. And for the Y, we have negative 1, 3, 9, 13, and 23. And let's see what they're asking us. Which is the function described by the table of order pairs? And now we have multiple choice here. We have y equals x plus 1. We have y equals 2x plus 3. Y equals 3x and y equals x plus 13. How do we approach this type of problem? Okay, the easiest way for me, and maybe some of you guys, and again there are many ways of solving this problem, but the easiest way for me would be to let's create the equation from this order pair. Okay, in the form, remember, y equals mx plus b. Okay, we create the equation to that type of form, right? So let's see, first of all, we are looking at patterns. Remember, a while back we learned about patterns. Let's see if we see any patterns here for the y. From negative 1 to 3, let's see, negative 1, it goes up to 1, negative 1 to 0, and then 3 plus 4, right? We see a pattern of plus 4. From 3 to 9, we see a pattern plus 6, right? We talked about that. 9 to 13, 9, 10, okay, and then 13 again plus 4, and then 13 to 23. Again, if we add 10 to 13, we get 23, right? Plus 10. Now let's see a pattern. Let's see if we can see a pattern for the x values. Okay, from negative 2 to 0, negative 2 to 0 is going up to plus 2. From 0 to 3, we have here plus 3. From 3 to 5, plus 2. And from 5 to 10, plus 5. And now remember, since here we have different values and for y and different values for x, remember, another way would be for us to divide the values of y, what we got, by the values of x. Okay? So we have, remember, we need to we are going to we are looking for the m, right? For the rate. Rate is going to tell us the answer, right? The rate, the slope. Remember, the f has the slope of 1 over 1. Here we have 3 over 1. Another 1 over 1. Remember, we are putting those. We can do that for since we do not have a number in front of x. We are using the invisible one, and here we have 2 over 1. Okay, so let's see what would be our slope here, and if we can get the slope. Anyways, so we have 4 divided by 2, so 4 divided by 2, 4 divided by 2 equals 2. Okay, the first one gave us 2 as a slope. Let's see, let's continue the second one. 6 divided by 3, we get 2. Okay, 4 divided by 2, we get 2. And then 10 divided by 5, we get 2. So our slope is 2, or 2 over 1. Okay, so m equals 2 over 1. So we got the m, we got the rate, we got the m. So now let's take a look which one of these ordered pairs, actually which one of these answers, multiple choice answers, has 2 over 1 as the slope. F has 1 over 1, so F does not work. Okay, that's the easiest way for me to solve that, and probably for many of you guys. Let's look at H. H has 3 over 1 as the slope, so H also doesn't work. J also has 1 over 1, doesn't work. The only one that works is G, because G has 2 over 1 as the M, right? So 2 over 1 matches our rate, our slope. So the final answer is G, okay? So remember, when you have this type of problem, try first to make sense of the table, look at some of the patterns we can create, and then find the slope right away, the rate in the formula, find the slope, and then take a look at those multiple choice answers. Which one of these multiple choice answers has the same slope? Okay, let's take a look at another example here. Which ordered pair x, y is the solution of the following equation? Y equals 2x plus 5. I think we've done another problem similar to that. Remember, when we have some ordered pairs, always label the ordered pairs, label the x and the y in each ordered pair. So let's label x, y, x, y, x, y, x, and y. Okay? And now, again, we are looking for a solution. Which ordered pair is a solution? Which means we are looking for the true statement, right? True statement. So we are looking to plug those values for x and for y, and which one of those are going to make the equation true? Okay? So instead of y, we are going to put 1. We are trying the a first, right? So instead of y, we are putting 1 equals 2 times x, which is negative 2, plus 5. Okay, so we have 1 equal 2 times negative 2 becomes negative 4 plus 5, and negative 4 plus 5 becomes 1. So 1 equals 1, and this is true. Okay. Which ordered pair? Again, singular. Which ordered pair? We got the answer A. Works, right? We get the true statement, right? True statement is a solution. We don't even have to do B, C, and D because they're asking us which ordered pair, not which ordered pairs, which means they are only looking for one answer. We got the answer, we just move on to another problem. Okay, which table contains only points that lie on the line of the equation 6x minus 6? Okay, so again, since we have a couple of tables here, the easiest way for me and probably for many of you guys would be again to find the slope for each of these tables, or the rate, and then see if we can match the slope of the equation. Remember, the slope is 6 over 1. The rise over run, we are adding the 1, the invisible 1. Okay, let's take a look at F here. Any patterns here? From 0 to 5, plus 5. Okay, and then from negative 6 to positive 5, let's see how much we have there. Negative 6, it's in the negative world, so we have, we are adding here negative 6 plus 5, so negative 6 to 0 becomes 6 plus 5, 11, plus 11. Okay, I don't think it works. 11 divided by 5 doesn't work, right? So F doesn't work. Let's continue to G here. From 2 to negative 2, right? We got actually going down, okay? So from 2 to 0, we have 2, and then now negative 2, so minus 4. That's the pattern. And here we have from 6 to negative 18, okay? So from 6 to 0 is 6, okay? So negative 18, okay, plus 6 becomes negative 24. Negative 24. And again, the rate is negative 24 divided, let's see, m equals negative 24 divided by negative 4. Negative divided by negative becomes a positive, and 24 divided by 4 becomes 6. Okay, we got 6 here. 6, or we can write 6 over 1. We got 6 over 1. It matches here. Let's read the problem again. Which table contains only points? Which table, not tables again, which table, singular, that means there's only one answer. They're not asking us for multiple tables, right? So since we got G that works, we don't even have to continue with H and J, and we can move on to another question. Remember, when you take a test, you might have, the test might be timed, so you can move on, so you don't waste time. So let's move on to another question. Okay, let's look at this one here. A car rental agency charges $38 per day. Okay, let's underline important information. $38 per day plus 21 cents for each mile driven. Okay? Do you know how many miles are driven? No. So we can call this X here. Mile driven, we can call this X. Okay, keep that in mind here. We have to multiply negative 0.21 times X. Okay, and 38 is, we need to add 38 to that. Okay, so let's continue. Bella paid $88.40 for the car. So she paid $88 for renting a car from them for 1 day. Okay, so she paid that. Which of the following could be used to find the number of miles she drove that day? And we have a multiple choice here. Okay, so again, using the process of elimination. Okay, at another middle school I used to work, we used to use this L, E, A, P for each question. We used to write LEAP for each question. L stands for look. We are looking, right? Underlining important information. Try to make sense of what, looking. We read the question, the problem, and then that's L is done. Okay, so then let's see if we can eliminate any of the problems. Okay, any of the multiple choice, and let's see which one we could eliminate. We could eliminate A, for example, because in A we don't see the $38 we have to add per day, right? Because there's a fee. We are adding 38 and we don't see any 38 for A, so A can be eliminated. Okay, let's look at C. C, if C is B actually, so we have 38x, and again, 0.21 should be multiplied by x because we do not know how many miles are driven, and it charges 21 cents per mile. So those quantities should be multiplied, not 38, which is the fee you pay. So 38x should not be multiplied, so we can eliminate this one also. All right, so let's look at C. 0.21 times x, that's correct. 0.21 times x, great, works great. Plus 38 per the charge per day, the fee, okay, equals $88.40. Because that's 40 cents, we don't even have to put the zero, remember? Zero doesn't count up to the decimal. So C works, okay? C is the equation that can be used to solve that problem. Let's look at D. Again, they multiply 38 times x, and again, that's a no-no because it's not given that information in the problem. Okay, so we eliminated all of them. We eliminated A, B, and D. And then let's try to analyze A. So when we analyze, again, we look to make sense, like to make sure that we got C, and C is actually the right answer. And it is indeed, because we analyzed all the other responses and they didn't work. And finally, proof. We did the proof actually. We didn't even actually have to do the proof because the proof is right here. Okay? We didn't have to do the proof in this case because we saw that 0.21 times 8 plus 30 equals 88.4, and we remove that 0. They remove the 0, but 0 doesn't count after the decimal point. So the final answer is C in this problem. And again, we use the LEAP strategy. Look, eliminate, analyze, and prove. Okay, let's continue to another question here. In which table do all the ordered pairs make the equation true? Again, we have 4 different types of tables, okay, and then we have an equation. And again, always look at the rate, the slope, and the slope is 2, we can say 2 over 1. Remember, the slope is the number or the fraction in front of the x, okay, so this is our m. We are looking for 2 over 1. Which one of these tables would give us 2 over 1 for the rate or for the slope? And to do that, again, we are looking at some patterns. In which table, again, it's singular. So once we find the answer, we can move up to the next question. Let's look at some patterns here. From 0 to 6, we are adding 6. From 6 to 5, we are subtracting 1. From 5 to 6, we are adding 1. So it's kind of very, very interesting there. Let's move on because of the time. When you are pressed for time, we can probably move to another table to see if any other table may give you some consistent pattern. Okay, let's look at G here. We'll come back to this if any other table don't work. From 8 to 6, we are subtracting 2. From 6 to 4, we are subtracting 2. But from 4 to 6, we are adding 2. Okay, again, not consistent pattern. Let's take a look at the other one here. H, from 0 to 2, we are adding 2. From 2 to 4, we are adding 2. From 4 to 2, we are subtracting 2. Okay, not really consistent, but let's look at J and then we come back to the other ones if the J doesn't work. From 0 to 2, we are adding 2. From 2 to 4, we are adding 2. From 4 to 6, we are adding 2. Again, more consistency. We see a pattern there. We're adding 2 each time for the Y. Let's look at the X. From negative 2 to negative 1, we are adding 1. So far, so good. From negative 1 to 0, we are adding 1. And from 0 to 1, we are adding 1. And in this case, actually for J, our rate or our slope equals the delta Y, remember, over delta X. So delta Y changes in the Y, which is plus 2, over plus 1. So 2 over 1 is 2 over 1, which matches our equation here in the problem. So the answer is J. Okay, so M equals 2 over 1, and it actually matches the other slope in the problem. So we don't have to go back to F, G, and H because all of the other answers did not have a consistent pattern, right? We couldn't find the rate slope. Again, only one table. We got a table, and then we can move on to another problem on a test. Let's look at this problem here. Which of these equations represent a table value? Which of these equations, okay, we have a couple of equations here, represent the table of values? The same thing, again, we have the equations here, and again, we are looking at the slope. The first equation has the slope as 3 over 1. The second equation, we are adding the 1 here under the 2. The slope is, so M equals 3 over 1 for the first one. Second equation, we have M equals 2 over 1. C, we have, we can add the invisible 1 over 1. M equals 1 over 1. And for J, we have, again, we have the invisible 1 over 1. M equals negative 1 over 1. Okay, so let's see, let's do our table now. Let's find the rate for our table and then we match one of those answers and see if after we get our rate, see if our rate matches any of the answers. Okay, let's see, from 2 to 8 we are adding 6. From 8 to 12 we are adding 4. Not really consistent, but we'll see if we see other patterns afterwards. From 12 to 18 we're adding 6. Now let's take a look at the x values. From negative 2 to 1, we are adding 3, plus 3. From 1 to 3, we are adding 2, plus 2. And from 3 to 6, we are adding 3, plus 3. And now let's see if we can divide the values of y by the values of x. 6 divided by 3, so m equals plus 6 over plus 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Let's see if all the other ones get 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So 2 works. Or we can say m equals 2 over 1 in a fraction form. M equals 2 over 1. Okay, which one of these, A, B, C, or J, or D, my bad, but to be D there, has 2 over 1 as a slope? A does not, because it has 3 over 1, and B indeed has 2 or 2 over 1. C does not work, and D does not work, so the final answer is B. Okay, I think this is the easiest way for me, and probably again, easiest way for you to do the same thing. Find a pattern, get our rate, our slope, and then match one of the answers. Okay, let's continue. A function of x is defined by the following equation: y equals 5x plus 12, which is the independent variable. Okay, so again, the independent variables is the x, because y is the dependent, right? Dependent. Dependent, and x the independent. Remember, y depends on the x, because let's say if x is 2, 5 times 2 is 10, and 10 plus 12 is 22. Y will be 22. But if x is 1, 5 times 1 is 5, 12 plus 5 is 17, y is 17, right? So y gets different values according to the independent. Whatever we put in, remember the vending machine. If we put in 2, we get what? 5 times 2 is 10, we get 22, right? But if we put in 1, we get 17. So it all depends. So the independent function, okay, which is the independent, so the independent is the x, right? The x value, right? So C is the answer here. Let's continue now here. Which is the range of this relation? Again, we have a relation here. So always get your order pairs. If they give us a relation, some dots, get the order pairs for each of these dots. Let's find the order pair for that dot. X is 1, x is 1, y is 2. Next order pair. This one, x is 2, y is 4. X is 2, y is 4. This dot, x is 4, y is 5. X is 4, y is 5. And finally, x is 6, y is 1. X is 6, y is 1. Always write the order pairs first, and we are looking for the range. Okay, so the range, make sure the range are the y values, right? So let's circle now all the y values, right? All the y values in our order pairs. And again, put them from least to greatest. Let's see, which one is the first one? So we have 1, comma, next one is 2, and then we have 4 and 5. And let's see which one of these A, B, C, and D matches us. So A, 1, 2, 4, 5, 4, 6 doesn't work. Let's look at B, 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. Yes, indeed, B works. B is the answer. C, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. No. And again, we have too many numbers here, but it doesn't work because D is the answer. We are looking for the range, the y values, right, in all these order pairs. Let's finally look at our last problem. It took a while, but it gave us a chance to look at multiple problems here for you to be able to prepare for a function test, either if you are in 8th grade or in 9th grade. Okay, let's take a look at this problem. A relation is graphed as shown. So we have another relation here. And again, anytime they give us dots, we are creating the order pairs first. Let's look at the first dot. X is 1, y is 6. Next dot, x is 3, y is 3. Next dot, we have x is 4, y is 2. And the the last one we have x is 6, y is 5. Okay, 4 and 2, perfect. So we have the ordered pairs here. And now let's look at what is the domain. So domain, we are taking the x values. Make sure we are circling the x values in all the ordered pairs. The x values, the first number in the ordered pairs, and let's put them from least to greatest. Okay, so 1 comes first, and then we have 3. Next we have 4 and 6. 4 and 6. And let's see which one of these answers matches us. Let's look at F. 1, 3, 4, 6. 1, 3, 4, 6. Yes, indeed. F works. And then 2, 3, 4, 5 doesn't work. 1, 2, 3, 4, too many. So the final answer is F. F works. Okay? It took us a while to go through all these problems, but I'm glad you stayed with me because it helped us a lot to practice and use different strategies in order for us to get the answers. We also used the LEAP strategy. We did at the other school I used to work. L stands for look, E stands for eliminate, A stands for analyze, and P stands for proof, right? And we also use the process of elimination. Thank you all again for watching, and if you need to prepare for that test for the function, make sure you review this video, watch the video a couple of times, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. And there's a bell when you subscribe, and make sure that is on because you need to be notified when I post all these videos. Thanks so much again, and have a nice day.